Hey everybody, it's Lamaria Kamara and wishing you a happy expansion day. Today is Thursday, September 17th. And yesterday I did a Facebook Live talking about letting go of attachments. And I just want to do a follow-up on my talk from yesterday and just maybe give you a tool that will maybe assist in the whole releasing of attachments that I talked about. But first, I just want to talk about attachments and clarify a few things that I said about attachments. And so, my whole talk, if you didn't hear it, was really about this idea of attachments being the source of pain and suffering in our lives. And this goes back to an ancient teaching, or many ancient teachings that have interpreted this in a lot of different ways. Attachments, are the source of pain and suffering. You may have heard it as money is the root of all evil. Having riches and wealth is somehow attached to greed and gluttony and sin. That earthly desires are the root of pain and suffering. There's all kinds of different, ways that I'm sure we've been taught this, and different ways that we have heard this. And I just want to clarify that this life that we're living, this material world that we live in, is it is meant for us to enjoy the beauty of this world and the treasures of this world. This is all by design from the divine. This is all the creation and the playing field of the divine, and it is part of the pleasure, right, of living and enjoying this very temporary space that we call, this life. It's very temporary, and it's a beautiful place to come and to explore, to play, and to enjoy. And so we are meant to enjoy all that this world has for us. And every single one of us is meant to enjoy all that this world has for us. Where we get caught up in is that we come here and we get attached to the things that we're supposed to be just partaking in and enjoying it. We begin to identify with those things as our identity, our property, our possessions, and so when we start to really attach to those things, and that's what attachment means, is claiming possession of things, identifying with things. And it's not just things, it's people, places, things, events, circumstances in our lives, anything that is of the material world or the world of form. So it may not necessarily be, it could be a relationship or a person that we become very attached to, or we become very possessive of. It could be that we become very attached to our job, our employment, and that we can't let go of that. It might be our things, our possessions, the nice car, the house, all these things are nice to have. But when we hold on tight to those things are all transient, Everything in the physical world is the world of change. It's the one thing that we can certainly count on, is that the material world and the world of form is the realm that is in constant change. It's, nothing stays the same. Everything will change. It doesn't even matter how long you've been on your job, it could change at any minute, and not only that, life is changing around us constantly. Yesterday is not the same day as today. It's a completely different day. I'm leading a completely different life in many, many ways. I'm not even the same person. Cells have changed, turned over, new cells have generated. I'm wearing something completely different. I'm vibrating violet today, and I feel different. So, you know, we're changing on multiple levels, and the world around us is changing on multiple levels. So the idea or the meaning of this realm being the realm of pain and suffering, when we attach to it, can be just simply broken down in very simplistic terms, that when we try to hold on to things that are in constant flux and constant change, then the pain and suffering that we experience is the pain and suffering associated with loss. Because when things change, we interpret that as loss. I'm holding on to something that is changing before my very eyes, and now it's gone, and now I feel like I've lost something. So when we identify with these things that are ever changing, then we get caught up in these cycles of pain and suffering and sense of loss, because we can't hold on to it. We can't hold on to something that's constantly changing. So the whole idea behind releasing attachments has nothing to do with not enjoying, the physical realm and the material realm and all of the people and the beauty of this creation. Is, it's there for us to enjoy, but it is not here for us to possess, to own, to attach to. And I know we live in a world where people, we believe so firmly in ownership. And, we have, money that we're attached to. We have documents and papers, titles, agreements, guarantees, contracts, and then we have the people in our lives that we're attached to, whether it's our partner, our children, our parents, our extended family members, friends, the people that we work with, the people that we go to church with, or we might even be attached to events, or, things that we do, like just maybe the very act of getting up and going to church every morning. For some people, is maybe the only social interaction that they get to have, so they count on that. They're very attached to that. If that were to be taken away, then maybe they would feel like they're at a total loss, or getting up and going to the beach is a ritual, and then maybe one day you have to move away from the beach, and now you're not close to the water anymore. And even when we think about our children, a lot of times, parents have a difficult time when children grow up and become adults and they leave home, and then the roles change, right? And so a lot of times the parents don't necessarily grow up with the children, so they try to parent their children the same way throughout the course of the child's life, and it doesn't work. You can't parent the same way. You can't parent the same way throughout a child's life. You have to change and grow with that child. When that child's 5 years old, you can't parent them the same way when they're 30 years old. By the time they're 30 years old, they don't really need you as a parent. Maybe they just need you to be there as, just a mentor, a guide, a friend, And so the attachment to children as being ownership oftentimes prevents parents from actually learning through the experience of childhood, growing up through the experience of childhood, and seeing that this is an opportunity for you to grow and learn while you're raising this child, because this child is not your property. This is not your child. You are on borrowed time with this person. And so you have a very limited time to impart all the good things that you have to impart to that person. But the things that you impart to that person, hopefully you're able to expand on that. Like when you had this child, when this child came into the world, you had one level of understanding and wisdom and intelligence, and hopefully by the time that child is 10 years old, you've gained a lot of understanding, intelligence, and wisdom. So you're not the same person, and you're not parenting the same way, because you yourself are not the same, that you've grown and you've expanded. And so by the time that child is 18, 19 years old, if you've done your job, they are like the birds who are ready to fly the nest. They're ready to step into their own life, and you've prepared them well, and that was your job. That solely was your job. And now they get to go and live their life and apply all those things that you gave them. They get to experience their own life. So attachments are things that we get at, that we hold on to because we're so much in our egoic mind. And the difference between being in the egoic mind and not being in the egoic mind is being awake and being conscious. So when we are awake and we're aware of who we really are, we're in touch with who we really are, then we are able to see ourselves as the witness and the actor on the stage. The ego personality, we refer to both as personality and ego, is the part of the self. It is the self who believes that it is separate from all creation. It doesn't see the correlation and the connection that it has with everything, including its source. It doesn't see itself as being a creation of source. It thinks that it is the source, and it sees all of life as being distinctly separate. That's when we know we're in our ego. And we can always catch ourselves when we're talking about groups of people and we get into the us and them mentality. And I don't know about you, but I catch myself doing that a lot, especially when I get into conversations about systemic racism and racial justice and things like that. I get into this us and them kind of dynamic, and it really challenges me because I've got some real deep-rooted programming around the whole us and them consciousness, and it becomes really challenging for me to see myself from a more expanded state of consciousness because I'm so wrapped up in my egoic mind. So I would say that we really need to be aware of ourselves as consciousness, and to observe ourselves as consciousness. or observe ourselves from the eyes of consciousness. And then we can see ourselves as actors on the stage, and we can observe ourselves from a, a vast and expansive viewpoint. And then we can see ourselves as we are acting out these great dramas on the stage of life. We can see ourselves actually being in this separation consciousness. And then we get to really make decisions about who we are and what we want from a more expanded point of view. So I really wanted to say that. And so the last thing that I'll leave you with is a affirmation. So what you can say is you can affirm who you truly are. You can say to yourself that I am not the victim, I am not the victor. And yesterday I introduced 4 states of consciousness. There's victim, victor, vessel consciousness, and the 4th is verity or oneness consciousness. So by affirming who you truly are, by saying, I am not the victim, I am not the victor, that I no longer participate or identify or give power to these 2 roles that are roles of the ego. These are 2 opposing forces that need each other in order to survive. So if you got the victim, you got the victor, they need each other. One preys on the other, one feeds off of the other. I choose not to participate in these 2 dramas, and I choose to withdraw my energy from these dramas and from these 2 actors. I choose to release all attachment to these identities. I choose to awaken to my true self, my true identity. And I choose the truth of my spirit and my soul. The truth is that I am, and that I am both the vessel and I am consciousness. I am both the vessel and I am consciousness at the same time. And I am absolute consciousness expressing itself through the vessel of consciousness. So I hope this gives you something uplifting that you can apply to your daily life. I hope that you choose to try it if you're not doing anything that's like this. If you are looking for something to just like bring you into your inner state of awareness, this is a great exercise to be able to do that. So give it a try and let me know what it does for you. Let me know how that affects change in your inner world, you know. And when we affect change from the inside, or when we awaken from the inside, the world around us changes, and it reflects that change in a powerful, positive way. So that's it for me today, my beloved family of light. I wish you health, happiness, prosperity. And remember, if you're going to be in the dream, be awake in the dream. If you like this video, if you found that it's helpful, please be sure and like it. Share it with some other people. Everybody needs some uplifting and inspiration these days. So if you found it uplifting, please share it, and feel free to make comments. Let me know what you got out of that. If there's something more that you would like to see or hear from me, be sure and place it in the comments. So have a magical day, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye-bye.